Hey, this is Dallas with Lower Gear Outdoors in Tempe, Arizona. Got a backpacking 101 for you, and we're talking about backpacks. Whether you're renting one, buying used, or going to a store to pick one up, we have all kinds of them, but they're all going to share some common elements that you ought to know before you go and pick one up. So this one is a Gregory Stout. There's any number of well-known brands you can choose from. They're all going to have similar features. This one is a 70 liter, which I can tell they'll generally always have some kind of little number on them, and that's most cases is the number of liters. They'll have a bottom compartment here. This is typically for sleeping bag, lighter weight material. This one has what's sometimes referred to as a kangaroo pouch. This is a good spot for wet and dirty things. You have, this is called a floating lid. It's got a couple zippered pockets inside and in the bottom as well, sometimes for credit cards, insurance cards, things of that nature. This is a top load, so you can just drop your things down this way. Some packs will have another side zipper which will allow you to enter it like a piece of luggage. Most of them are going to have some kind of sleeve on the inside. And you may not be able to see this one, but down in there, there's a pocket for a water bladder. Alternatively, there's going to be side pockets that if you prefer Nalgene bottles or something like that. This is the carrying handle. These are the shoulder straps, hip belt pockets. This particular model has some extensions here. So if you're a little bit wider waist, those can come around. And we'll show you at a later date how to best carry it. And then this one has an adjustable torso. So there's a piece of Velcro back here. And this can be raised and lowered. Some are size, so they're going to be small, medium, and large. And you have limited, if any, adjustability on that. And then you're going to have cinch straps top and on the sides to keep everything squished in this way. We'll talk a little bit about sizing the torso for a backpack. Now, the torso length is sort of just a unique thing to the backpacking world. It is a distance between your C7 vertebrae, which is sort of this around this bone that sticks out here, and an imaginary line that runs across from your iliac crest. So roughly like a distance from here to here, and you'll see manufacturers' recommendations on whether you should have a small, medium, or large based on that torso length. It doesn't tell you the entire story, however, because it also depends on how thick you are from front to back. These are the shoulder straps, and if you're thin, it might go down that way, but if you're heftier, it may come out that way and then down. So even if your torso might be a medium, you might need a long pack because the shoulder straps need to come out some. On this one, it is adjustable. There is just a piece of Velcro back here in the back, and you'll see some small, medium, large indications there. So if I put this, I'm usually a medium, so see what happens if I put this all the way up and then I throw this on. First thing you want to do for sizing is to wrap it around your iliac crest. You want this hip belt to go right around it. You don't want it down below. You don't want it jacked up high. So when you cinch it down, the buckle should be right in line with your belly button. And you do want to make sure you do this first. A lot of people, I see, they'll put on a pack and then immediately cinch these down. But the adjustment for your shoulder straps is influenced by where you have this. You always want to latch on to your hips first. These are your strongest bones. Here's where you want to carry most of your weight. And so you're going to want this tighter than you would ever wear a pair of pants, for example. And then bring this down. And the last thing you would do is add this sternum strap. And all that's designed to do is just keep the shoulder straps from sliding off. You don't want to feel any pressure. On the torso length, if you take a look at this one, you'll see where the yoke of the shoulder straps, which is this part right here, that should be a couple inches down below my C7 vertebrae. Now, right now, this is way too high. So this wouldn't be a comfortable. You are better off if it's a little tall rather than a little short, but So this wouldn't be terrible, but I'll show you what happens when it's too short. Now I've got the exact same pack on, but I have lowered the shoulder straps down to the shortest possible torso length, and you can see the difference. So I've got the hip belt on in the same place I had it, but now when I go to cinch these, now you notice that this is starting to crawl up under my armpits, and you definitely don't want that. So anytime you see this, if somebody's wearing a pack, it's generally too short for them. And if you look back here, you'll see where that yoke that I was talking about is down way down below my C7 vertebrae. So the sweet spot for me would be somewhere different. This ought to be down into here somewhere. And then when the shoulder strap would just be right down below the C7 vertebrae. If you have an adjustable waist belt, you want it to bring it around as far as possible, because again, you're trying to maximize the amount of support on your hips rather than having it sink in on your shoulders. You generally never want to carry more than 25% of your body weight if you can avoid it. Sometimes you can't, but that's a general rule, particularly for youth. If they're going out on a scout trip or something like that, you definitely don't want to overload them with too much weight. I want to talk a little bit about how to load a backpack. We've previously talked about how to fit one and how to find the right size. You've got, as a general principle, you want to go lightweight stuff down here at the bottom, heavy, denser things right here in the middle, and then lightweight things up on the top. And the reason you're doing that is you don't want real heavy things here pushing in on you that way. You don't want heavy things up top making the top heavy that way. And so right here is close to your back. So this is typically going to be water, food, fuel, denser things that would go right here in the middle. Down the bottom is going to be sleeping bag, mattress pad typically, and then up top might be some additional layers. You might have some emergency supplies and things up here. The hip belt pockets are handy for snacks, navigation device, things of that nature. And then you want to be careful putting anything in this pouch. You don't want anything too heavy because that will pull you back this way. The other consideration is balancing out your load. Typically the heaviest thing that you've got is going to be water. So if all these are going to have some kind of sleeve that you can drop a bladder in. So if you have a 3-liter bladder, that's going to weigh like 6 pounds. You're going to want that right in the middle. If you use water bottles and you have them over to the side, then you have to watch out to make sure you're not top heavy this way. I usually put a bladder over on this side, but then I'll shift everything over this way to offset it. So both balance this way, balance this way, and then if you have a less than full load, you want to cinch it down so that it's spread the weight out vertically and not all clumped down here at the bottom. There's more to it than that, of course, but now hopefully that'll help you not have to learn everything the hard way on your own. If we can ever help you out in selecting a pack or fitting a pack, stop by anytime. Check us out online at lowergear.com.